We are here on campus at Coosa Christian School with the new athletic director, former Etowah Blue Devil star, and went all the way to the major leagues in baseball, Mr. Stacy Jones. Stacy, I'm glad you came on with us today. This is an interview a lot of people's been asking us about, so we're finally getting to do that today. When we start this interview out, man, we're going to take it back to the grassroots, where you grew up and what was life like for you growing up.
Well, when I was a little kid, I grew up in Miller's Holler. Which is a little segment up behind Curtiston, a little small area. We were land poor. I guess you call it land poor. We had a lot of land, but didn't have a whole lot of money. We were country kids. My dad worked at the steel plant. My mom worked for the city of Etowah. We played all the sports that we could. My mom and dad got us to the ball games. I don't know how Mama did it, but she had 3 kids in 3 different age groups at one time, and we wound up going to Etowah High School. I played basketball, played baseball, did not play football. My younger brother was a football player. And in 1985, I signed a scholarship to Auburn University. And it's kind of interesting to that point because when I was 15, I did not make a team. I got cut from a team when I was 15 years old. And I remember being almost embarrassed because of the fact that I got cut and driving home in the back of an El Camino with my dad driving. We had other ball players when we had that tryout. God spoke to me, and I asked. I mean, legitimately spoke to God that day. It was kind of embarrassing for not making the team, and I said, if you ever give me the ability, I'd like to have the ability to play, and I'd tell everybody where it come from. And to that day, things changed in my life, but I wound up growing 6 inches within the summer, and of course my legs kind of hurt, and my shoes didn't fit, clothes didn't fit. Looked like Ichabod Crane. I was about 6'5", only weighed about 165 pounds. And by the time I graduated from Etowah High School, I got a full scholarship to Auburn University, and Hal Baird down there was his first signing class. Now he coached the year before, but I was his first in-state baseball signee from the state of Alabama. And he recruited nationally. From my roommate, Greg Olsen, was from Omaha, Nebraska. Another roommate from New Jersey, had one from Tullahoma, Tennessee. We had Ethan White from Texas. So Coach Baird was a national recruiter, not just local Alabama talent. He had connections with the Atlanta Braves, with Kansas City Royals. I was just lucky. I had never even had an offer as far as being a freshman, sophomore, junior. Never even had an offer to play baseball at all or a scholarship. I was playing basketball, and Gid Riddle was my high school basketball coach. Was a phenomenal coach. Him and Larry Foster, the 2 coaches at the high school, really molded me as far as what I really wanted to do. And Gid Riddle asked me during the summer between my junior and senior year if I was interested in playing college basketball, because he could get me a scholarship at the junior college level. And I looked at him dead in the eye and I said, I love baseball. I'm going to play baseball. So, and at that time I didn't have any offers. And by the time the state playoffs come around, I was scouts lined up behind the backstops, radar guns, and I got offers from Jacksonville, Alabama. I wound up going to I wanted to stay in state. So I visited those schools around here, and my decision was to go to Auburn University. I felt at home at that place, just like I feel at home right here at Coosa Christian. And while I was there, I was able to play with some of the greatest athletes in baseball. Bo Jackson played football and baseball, wound up choosing baseball, and then later on choosing football. Frank Thomas was our first baseman. He was an All-American. He was a football player, had bad feet. His arches hurt a lot. He chose baseball. Wound up he's in the Hall of Fame. My roommate Greg Olsen. He was the number 3 overall pick in the draft in 1988. Was around a lot of gifted athletes, and I really didn't know where I fit into that point. And so, but I wound up getting drafted in the 3rd round. I was the number 2 or 3 pick of the 3rd round in 1988, and I played professional ball with the Orioles, the Giants, the Brewers, and the White Sox. Played 9 years. But one person asked me a question, and his name is Jerry Nairn. He was a manager for us. He was actually the catcher with the Yankees when Thurman Munson had the plane crash, and he wound up filling in those shoes. And that's pretty hard to step in the New York Yankees, and you're behind Thurman Munson, the plane crash, and now he's thrust into that limelight. So Jerry Nairn asked me a question one time, and it was the most, probably the simplest question that I've ever been asked, but it was the hardest question I ever was asked how to answer it. And he looked at me. We were in London, Canada, playing AA ball in the Eastern League. He said, "Stacy, are you going to play in the big leagues?" And I didn't answer. I paused. He just turned and walked off. I never saw myself in that role. So when he walked off, I was just left standing there. And about 2 weeks later, I think we were in New Britain, Connecticut. Same thing, AA baseball, same coach, same scenario. He walks by and he says, "Stacy, are you going to play in the big leagues?" And I said, "Jerry, I don't know how to answer that question." So he said, "Come in here for a minute." So we went in his office and sat down and talked for a little while. And he started naming out players that was on the team with us. He said, "Is Arthur Rhodes going to play in the big leagues?" I said, "Yes, sir. He's got a phenomenal arm, got a great ability. He's got a long way to go, but he's got it." He asked me, "Is Anthony Telford, will he play in the big leagues?" I said, "Yes, sir, he'll play. He's got great breaking ball, good velocity, can spot his fastball." Then he asked me about David Segui. David Segui wound up also in the big leagues. And I said, "Yeah, he'll play in the big leagues. He'll play for a while." He said, "What's the difference between them and you?" And I said, "I'll be honest with you, I don't know." He said, that's the whole point. You don't know. If you don't know, you never see yourself in a different role. Mm-hmm. You have to picture yourself in that role in order to be in that role. If not, you're just going to be just adrift in one way or another. So that's a little bit of my background. So I wound up playing 9 years professional ball. Only 31 days in the big leagues. That's why my favorite number's 31. It was probably the best 31 days because I'd always dreamed about it. Because when I was 15 and I got cut, my dad knew that it hurt. And I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
He brought buckets of slag home from the steel plant. And I would stand in the yard and throw at a tire hanging in a pear tree for hours. For hours. My mom would have to get us to come in, time to go to bed. We were kind of old school. You stayed in the yard until it got dark. And time to eat and then go to bed. But I played games out in the yard. I was a loner, I guess you'd say. So, but I threw and I threw and I threw. I didn't realize it, but that was part of God's plan. Mm-hmm. And here I am. It took me 33 years to get my college education finished after I left as a junior at Auburn. Thanks to Brandy helping me so much, and we moved around. So I want to give back. And on my mirror at the house, it's time to give back to your community. Start today. Mm-hmm. It's been on my mirror for 15, 20 years now. So that's why I'm here.
That's good. Now, when you first got here to Coosa Christian, things have rapidly changed here over the last 3 years to the point where it's unrecognizable to those who probably walked these halls just 5 years ago.
Absolutely. Coach O'Brien talked to me about 3 years ago about coming here. I had just left Etowah High School, going to Cherokee County to be the Park and Rec director and run all the sports up there. I had baseball, softball, I had soccer, I had basketball. We just had a lot of kids. It was the whole county. I facilitated all of that. But he asked me to come here one day, and I thought, Coosa Christian, a little small school. It's not what I was looking for. Mm-hmm. So as time went along, one day I stopped by here and I stopped by East Gadsden Sporting Goods, and actually it was Brandy that stopped by East Gadsden Sporting Goods, and she said that, hey, I don't think Stacy's happy up there. And Mark walked off, and he actually immediately called me on the phone, and I wound up answering. I think I may wind up having to call him back. He said, I need you to come by here. Just come by the school, see what we have. So I came by here, and it has transformed. Mm-hmm. It is just the culture here. You know, the kids working out, they all work out together. That's a blessing to have a weight room. Teddy is a phenomenal weight room guy. You know, and it's focused on speed, agility, sports-specific program. I've never seen that before in a high school program. You know, even though we're a 1A, we work out like we're in 7A. You know, I'd like to be able to go and play Hoover. Mm-hmm. I'd like to be able to go and play Vestavia Hills or go to Bob Jones and compete. And eventually, I think this program is going to get there. You know, right now we're in the process of hiring a basketball coach. I have last night solidified our girls basketball coach, Daryl Douthert. He's played college ball at the junior college level, and he's also coached at two different colleges, Snead State on the girls' side, and also at St. Mary's in San Antonio. He's also a recruiter as far as like high for the college. That was one of his jobs. I signed him last night, or made a commitment for him last night. Also, Eddie Norris, his son Rylan Norris, that played at Alabama, and his daughter played at Jacksonville. He's our new basketball coach starting. I got a commitment from him 2 days ago. I'm excited about the whole thing. And believe it or not, we're fixing to have a band.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's going to start out more of classroom work, learning the instruments and learning notes, and then we're going to transition from that into the stadium. It's not going to be a marching band to begin with. It may be more of a drum line, but we're going to start a band. You know, Coosa Christian's never had a band. We've got one coming.
That's awesome.
I've got the right guy in place, and can't announce it yet, but I'm pretty sure that I've got that. But we will have a band this year.
That'll be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You've already made a couple of hires, and you're moving forward at a rapid pace, so to speak.
Yes.
One good thing about this place right now, it has become on everybody's map. Everybody knows this place. I mean, I'm in Mobile. People's asking me about Coosa. Mm-hmm. I'm in Birmingham. People's asking me about Coosa. What are they doing there? I say that to say this: the expectations is a good thing now, and
yes, absolutely
across the board. So how are you going to approach that now? They're looking for that next level, and that they bring you in is definitely a big piece of that.
The way I see it right now, my role is to make sure we have the quality coaches to be able to give the best instruction we can have.
Gotcha.
And facilitate. It's not only about athletics, it's also about the education part. The importance of being able to be we're in developing professional students that's going to be professional citizens.
Right.
You know, that's the whole goal. Because what are you going to do when the house gets on fire and you're really tired? You got to get up and get out.
That's right.
The base of the students that I've seen here, the culture is what we're looking for. And if you can develop the culture and the kids to buy into the program and they become leaders, once you have leaders that's sitting on the bench or on the sidelines with you, they're an extra coach. It's kind of like co-teaching with a student-led teaching. You put a student with another student so he can help him out. That's the whole point of when they learn the system and they learn. Once they learn that, the only way that they really learn it is to be able to transfer and teach that to someone else.
Now, you guys have just got the new weight room in. You have an indoor
Yes, it's
facility
phenomenal.
upstairs.
Absolutely phenomenal.
There's talks of maybe bringing in a kitchen for nutrition. You're starting to feed the players every day. You got 2 charter buses now.
2 charter buses.
You paved front out here. So there's a lot of movement. I'm asking that to ask you this. What are some of the other things that we're looking for?
Well, like I said, we're looking to start in that band. We'd like to continue to grow, in the other aspects of the school and be able to compete at a higher level. That the biggest thing that we want to make sure these kids are taken care of. A lot of kids go home at night once they get done with practice. They don't have a whole lot to eat. We feed them 3 meals a day during the year. And they also have, we've got a gentleman that donates chocolate milk. They get shakes during the day. They got snacks during the day. These kids are burning 5,000 and 6,000 calories a day. Mm-hmm. Some 4 to 6. They got to replenish it. If not, they lose muscle. Mm-hmm. Why are we coming here to work out? Why are we going out there for speed and agility? Why are we doing all these things if it's a negative part to the body? So we want to make sure we will replenish in that to keep them burning muscle for the next day. Keep them also from being sluggish so they can be attentive in the classroom.
I'm going to ask you a couple more and we're going to have to shut it down because battery's about to go dead on us.
All right. Another thing, we're looking at starting into the elementary side. Mm-hmm. Start getting young kids coming here playing basketball, learning basketball during the summer, having some travel ball teams focused from here, to be able to go and have some quality coaching. Now, I'm not saying there's not bad coaches or there's bad coaches out there, but we're wanting to invest back in our community.
Into the youth part of it as well.
Absolutely.
What's your first order of business between now and, football's going to start this thing and volleyball right there with it, between now and fall sports?
Well, I've been here about 2 weeks. I've hired 2 basketball coaches, Eddie Norris and Daryl Dowd. That took a while to get done. And then now we've got the band rolling. It's about to start. That was the 3 main things to begin with. Now we want to continue on the girls' side now. We got to develop that program. Our basketball, I don't know. We have, like last year, I think in the boys, we've won 4 games last year, and I don't know, the girls, I think, won 5. We want to develop that, learn skill related. It's not all about winning. If you do the right things and learn to practice the right way and you develop skills, the winning's the fun part. That's the reward for the hard work.
You gonna turn the heat up in the gym like Coach Riddle used to do?
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
One thing I am going to say this, and I know the 2 best coaches I ever had in my entire life was at high school. Or 3 best coaches I ever had in my entire life, and I played for a lot of. Was Larry Foster, Gid Riddle, and Robert Carteret.
That's crazy.
Those are the 3.
That's incredible.
Because they invested in us. They weren't making a whole lot of money. We're not making a lot of money at all.
Yeah.
We're just investing, trying to give back. And you'll see it like Larry and I think we've had 5, maybe 6 professional athletes come out of Etowah High School as far as baseball players. But that's just minimum compared to what he did for those kids. You think about it, just on my high school team alone, there was 21 of us. 17 of us got college scholarships.
That's incredible.
Now, if you multiply that out, 17 kids getting college scholarships and how much that tuition they paid for, it's minimum. Yeah. It's staggering.
Millions.
So, yeah, it's when you invest in the kids, you reap the reward, and then you wind up, they turn around and come back, and then they give back.
All right, let me ask you this. In a perfect scenario, if we went into the future 5 years, what would you think we'd see with this school and this athletic program?
Okay, I'd like to, here's one, we need to build another indoor facility, a basketball court similar to what you see up at Garnersville or over at Champions. And that's a vision.
Supreme and Champions.
Yes, Supreme Courts. We'd like to have that right out here. That would make our program grow big time. I would like to see more on-campus students growing. Going from 1A, but not because of competitive balance going from 1A all the way up to 5 and 6A, but because we're winning, you know, all the way around. And when you're developing that kind of kids and those kids and have the band out there, the culture, you're going to grow. You know, I would like to see us at that level. In maybe 10 years, I'd like to see us in 6A. I mean, there's a lot of talk of where we're going. There's some things in the works I can't talk about right now. But there's some exciting things coming.
No doubt.
Very exciting things coming. Behind the scenes, Mr. Albright, Mr. Justice, and we're all working together. We got good quality coaches, but there's things coming that I don't want to say because of the fact that, you know, somebody said y'all are doing this and y'all are doing that. So, yeah. But there is big things coming.
Well, Stacy, it's been an honor to have you in. Definitely got an idea of your background and your vision for this place. You've already made some big splashes. Yeah. Plenty more splashes to come. And I'm going to tell you, just from a standpoint of what I've seen transpire, it goes from, I think, winning one game in out of 20 to Rush Probst was hired here. You got a little bit of legitimacy to you now. And that's just the first step. Now we're going into the second and third step. Right now.
And there's other things that we'd like to do. One, we'd like to get baseball lights on the baseball and softball field. We're talking about building an indoor baseball facility out there for indoor hitting and, you know, and then building a bigger complex as far as like Supreme Courts.
Yeah.
It's only going to get better and just hide and watch. Just hide and watch. We're going to be moving forward.
I love it. Thank you so much, Stacy, and it's been an honor and looking forward to see what happens and transpires here at Coosa Christian.